So a new NBA season finally begins this evening, and I gotta say, it felt like this offseason lingered on longer than it usually does. I don't know why, maybe it's because I'm a Lakers fan, and after the Celtics won the NBA championship in such commanding fashion, maybe I'm just more anxious than usual to get that sour taste out of my mouth. Now with the new NBA season upon us, I think it's appropriate that we're talking about what we're hoping to see in these upcoming competitions. And a unique way I wanted to frame this is how I would write the NBA season if I was the NBA script writer. First off, I would have scoring go down like it was in the 2024 playoffs. From the 2024 regular season to the 2024 playoffs, scoring reduced by more than 9 points for each team. That was because the intensity was up and referees were putting away their whistles and letting the players play. With real defense back and a greater sense of intensity, I think both the younger fans and the older basketball fans are going to be happy, and that's a better and more entertaining product for everyone involved. I would also write that Adam Silver would go scorched earth after the embarrassing All-Star game last season, where teams nearly combined for 400 points. Basically, I want the referees and the players to put a greater emphasis on defense. I still want the All-Star game to be filled with highlights, and no, I don't want them to approach it with the same intensity of a playoff game. But with that being said, they can at least try a little, and hopefully it will be a thrilling close finish. By the end of the game, people would be celebrating Silver and the league, declaring that the All-Star game is officially back. I would have Chris Paul have yet another resurgence, and have him once again overcome Father Time, as he reveals himself to be the perfect running mate for Victor Wembanyama. Wemby would win the Defensive Player of the Year while improving his game offensively, as he ushers himself into the conversation of the top 10 players in the league. I would also choose for the Spurs to be a bubble playoff team, because with Wemby and Chris Paul both involved in the action, things just become way more exciting. For the sake of the drama and for the redemption, I would have Klay Thompson get off to a slow start in his first 25 games of the season. But his Mavericks wouldn't give up on him and stay patient, and then their faith in him would be exactly what he needs, and by the halfway point of the season, he looks like the same old Klay. Speaking of the Mavericks, I would have the Nuggets and the Mavericks meet in the Western Conference playoffs. That way, we finally get that Nikola Jokic and Luka Doncic battle. These guys are arguably the two best players in the entire league, but they're also tremendous friends and have a special relationship off the court. Seeing them have to put their friendship aside and go to battle over the course of a 7-game series is something I was hoping to see last season. So if it was up to me, I would definitely write it into existence this year. I would have Anthony Edwards take a massive leap forward, and I would have him start getting 50 and 60-point games, to the point that people are starting to feel that the Kobe and Jordan comparisons are actually valid. If he's ever legitimately gonna be in that conversation on an individual level, then this should be the year that he takes a massive leap forward. I would write the New York Knicks to have a completely healthy playoff run, because they deserve it after last season's debacle. And in the East playoffs, I would also have the Boston Celtics get truly tested in the playoffs. That way, there's no longer any narratives about them having an easy road, but we can really, truly just see how they stack up against the other teams in the Eastern Conference. And I would have that happen from the jump. Their first round playoff matchup would either be against a healthy Bucks team, a healthy Knicks team, or a healthy 76ers team. From an MVP perspective, I'm kind of getting a little bit tired of seeing the same names over and over again. It seems like every year recently, it's about Joel Embiid, Nikola Jokic, or Giannis, with Luka Doncic on the outside looking in. I would write it in such a way where a new guy would win the award, whether it be Anthony Edwards, Jason Tatum, or SGA. As far as the NBA Finals, I'm sure a lot of people are going to desire wildly different outcomes. But for myself personally, as a general basketball fan who's putting my Laker fandom aside, I would love to see an NBA Finals matchup with the Dallas Mavericks and the New York Knicks. And there's two reasons for this. For one, the Knicks had a legitimate shot at the NBA Finals last season if they had been completely healthy. And the NBA product is just so much better whenever New York is doing well. Those Knicks fans are so ridiculously passionate and add so much to the playoff experience and atmosphere when they're involved in the competition. If they made it to the NBA Finals for the first time in several decades, then that entire city would be electric. Facing off with them, representing the Western Conference, would be the Dallas Mavericks, who would be poised to finally finish the job after last season's failure. Klay Thompson would be performing at a higher level, and obviously Luka and Kyrie would be doing their thing as well. But there would also be an interesting dynamic in that finals matchup, since the New York Knicks superstar Jalen Brunson would have his revenge opportunity against his former team. That would be an extra bit of motivation for him and an extra storyline for us to pay attention to. Ultimately, I'd want the Dallas Mavericks to win the NBA championship, selfishly because I do love Luka Doncic, and I want him to get his proper recognition and maybe even challenge Nikola Jokic for the title of the best player in the entire league. I do think if he goes on to win the championship this year and win the Finals MVP, then the vast majority of the basketball community will all agree to give him that title. But these are just some of the things I would love to see and how I would write this upcoming season if I was the league scriptwriter. How would you write the 2024 to 2025 NBA season? Honestly, I made this video not just to get my thoughts out there, but more so because I wanted to hear your guys' feedback. So please, let me know in the comment section below what you're hoping to see in this upcoming NBA season. It's so good to have the game of basketball finally back. Thanks for watching as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more basketball content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.